This is Henry O'Donovan on Bondi Beach in Australia, wishing you and all our Radio Irish listeners the very best from Australia.
Hello there, my name's Henry O'Donovan and I'm talking to you from Bondi Beach in Sydney's eastern suburbs in Australia. And I'll tell you what, I'm delighted to join the team at Radio Irish. Now I'm going to tell you about some interesting things happening in Australia, particularly the Fleurieu Folk Festival. If you're Irish, you've got to go to this gig, okay? It's Fleurieu spelled F-L-E-U-R-I-E-U. The Fleurieu Folk Festival is Friday 24th to Sunday 26th of October 2008. Now, it's set in the historic town of Willunga in South Australia. It is a beautiful town. I've camped there. If you're Irish, you've got to go to this folk festival, okay? Bring an instrument and join in on the sessions, or step on stage at the Blackboard concert. Kick up your heels at the bush dance. Browse around the craft stalls and the Saturday farmers market, or even watch the kids have fun with face painting, maypole dancing, clowns, Punch and Judy, and of course the Young Talent Showcase, or discover your own hidden talents at one of the many workshops, or just relax and enjoy, have a beer. Just enjoy the vast array of local and interstate performers, because there are a heck of a lot of them there. Now, this year's Fleurieu Folk Festival will have a big focus on youth, and they'll be presenting some of Australia's finest young folk performers at the Gen Y folk events, as well as hosting 2 young talent showcases and the Wacky Band Playoff in the Youth Marquee. There'll be a chance for a promising young act to perform at the 2009 National Folk Festival in Canberra. And one young performer will also receive a scholarship to attend masterclasses at the National Folk Festival. With over 85 acts at this year's Fleurieu Folk Festival, there'll be something that everyone can enjoy and get involved in. You're with Henry O'Donovan from Radio Irish Down Under in Australia.
RadioIrish.com.
You're with RadioIrish.com, and this is Radio Irish Down Under, with Henry O'Donovan. How are you? I've just been talking to my girlfriend, and she tells me that Fleurieu, which is where the Fleurieu Folk Festival is, they say Willunga, but there's a little area called Fleurieu, and we actually stopped in our old Volvo and had sandwiches at Fleurieu, and I had forgotten. It's ridiculous. Anyway, sandwiches at Fleurieu, a big festival there, the Fleurieu Folk Festival, Friday 24th to Sunday 26th of October. And of course, the beautiful historic town of Willunga is really the town it's in South Australia. And if you're Irish, you really got to be there. There's some Irish stuff going on there as well. There's Murphy School of Irish Dancing will be performing. Now, I've seen them before, and they are outstanding. And there's also, in the events section, there's Irish set dancing. So if you've never learned how to do a bit of set dancing while you're in Ireland, you really must try it here. Other events we mentioned, the Gen Y folk events. Generation Y. Well, that's not me, and it's certainly not Bob Gallico, and I don't think it's Sean McCarthy either. Gen Y folk events is for kids. Well, we can't call them kids, 18 to 25-year-olds. Now, this part of the festival is what they say is for the new generation of folk performers, and this is really good because it means folk is not dying out anytime soon. It'll offer opportunities to perform at concerts in, the Youth Marquee workshops and sessions with peer-age group musicians, and the chance of a promising young South Australian act to perform at the 2009 National Folk Festival in Canberra. Of course, I was telling you this before. And one South Australia performer will also receive a scholarship to attend the masterclasses at the National Folk Festival. Of course, sure, there's over 80 events at this, so we're just going to try and cover the ones we think you'd be interested in. Dancing. Sunday afternoon, Aussie bush dance with Hardy Yakka Bush Band. Aussie bush dancing. Scottish country dancing and American country dancing with Maureen Morris. Colonial dancing. Cajun dancing. Of course, Irish set dancing. And Adelaide traditional dancers will be there, and they'll be clogging their feet off. Now, there'll be other sessions. There'll be lots of opportunities for informal acoustic sessions. The Session Bar, a centrally located marquee hosting the main bar session area and meeting place. The Acoustic Cafe, with a veranda and marquee for sessions and acoustic events. The Football Club, for acoustic workshops and programmed club sessions. And that's all at the Willunga Hotel. It's called the Middle Pub, actually, in that hotel, and it welcomes session players.
RadioIrish.com. Radio Irish, that's what you're listening to. This is Henry O'Donovan, broadcasting from Bondi Beach in Australia for Radio Irish, and wishing all our listeners in the Irish community across this great continent of Australia a big old Céad Míle Fáilte from all of us here on Bondi Beach. And don't forget, you can contact us here at Radio Irish. Just email radioirish@gmail.com.
Radio Irish Down Under with Henry O'Donovan. RadioIrish.com. And this is Henry O'Donovan from Bondi Beach in Sydney in Australia, talking about the Fleurieu Folk Festival, which is on Friday 24th to Sunday 26th of October 2008. Sure, if you're Irish, you just have to be there. Now, there's markets and stalls at this thing. The Willunga Farmers Market is on Saturday morning. Food, art and crafts, clothing, specialty stalls, etc. at the festival site. Meals available from the Slate Hill Cafe, Alma Hotel, Willunga, the Willunga Hotel, of course, the Old Bush Inn, and Christina's on High Street. If you're from another part of Australia and you've been to some small towns, this one's pretty special, and the people are extremely friendly. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. Another thing I was going to mention, actually, is if you're a backpacker, an Irish backpacker in Australia, and you've got some time in your hands, this might be a good festival to get involved with, the Fleurieu Folk Festival. They've got a system set up for volunteering. Now, one of the best part of a folk festival is involvement. By volunteering, you will make new friends and obtain great satisfaction from ensuring everyone has a great old time. And of course, a memorable time too. A good festival requires lots of volunteers, as you know, and your skills and time will be highly valued. If you would like to join the festival, just go to the website www.fleurieufolkfestival.com.au, and I'll spell that FLEURIEUFOLK festival.com.au/volunteers. Become a volunteer if you've got some time in your hands. And if you need to do that, if you need to find out how to do that, just go to fleurieufolkfestival.com.au/volunteers. The historical picturesque town of Willunga is located 50 kilometres south of Adelaide on the road to Victor Harbour. It's within easy drive of the McLaren Vale Wine District. Oh, have I been there many times. And some fabulous beaches and coastline. In fact, the last time I drove around that coastline, it was winter and it was pouring rain, which in fact might just happen here now. We're coming into spring. Well, we're in the middle of spring here in Australia, and it's traditional, on the beaches especially, that you get a lot of thunder and lightning. So if you hear a lot of that in the background, please accept my apologies. Anyway, how to get to this festival? Well, it's within an easy drive of McLaren Vale Wine District, and most people will be able to find their way to that place. And camping facilities will be provided adjacent to the festival site, and there's also excellent caravan parks and bed and breakfast accommodation nearby, and they're not overpriced either. If you've got a car, you can drive from Adelaide, which is the nearest biggest city, of course. What you do is you drive from Adelaide via Victor Harbour Road, and then just turn left at Willunga exit, before Willunga Hill. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that to get there. And if you're in another part of the country, well, find your way to probably Adelaide and work it out from there. You can always go on their website as well to check it out. So, the action starts at 6 p.m. on Friday with a concert featuring local and guest performers in the stadium, which is adjacent to the recreation ground. This will be the main concert venue, with acts programmed all weekend, and will be set out, concert style, with seating for 300 people. There'll be a small entry charge of $10 a day for this venue. The remainder of the festival, it's entirely free. Not a cent. Over 80 acts, and not a cent. Only $10 to get in. Other concerts, including the Blackboard concerts, will be held in the Aussie Cider Village Marquee, located amongst the stalls in the festival village area. Anyone wishing to perform at one of the Blackboard concerts should approach the person coordinating that event on the day. Time slots for performance will be allocated as fairly as possible on a first-come, first-served basis. So if you want to do a bit of an act yourself, just make sure you check in and, get yourself heard by these people, and they'll put you in there, I'm sure. First come, first served. So the Fleurieu Folk Festival, set in the beautiful historic town of Willunga, Friday 24th to Sunday 26th of October 2008. If you're Irish, you simply have to go there. You simply do. And it's a beautiful town too. This is Henry O'Donovan for RadioIrish.com. and Radio Irish Down Under in Australia. I'll see you next time.
RadioIrish.com.
Radio Irish Down Under with Henry O'Donovan.